Go to our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Good morning to you, Mary.
Good morning, Robin. Well, President Trump was at the football game last night as this was all coming together, telling reporters only, quote, "It looks like we're getting very close to the shutdown ending." Now, the president has stayed out of all of this. Instead of negotiating and talking with Democrats, he has urged Republicans to stand their ground, making it clear to Democrats that they weren't going to get what they wanted. Trump conceded, though, just days ago that the shutdown was one of the reasons that Republicans lost in last week's elections, admitting the shutdown has been, quote, "worse for us than for them." But even as voters blamed Republicans, it's clear Trump's efforts to up the pressure on Democrats is working, whether through those firings or the fight over food assistance. The president is making the impacts of this shutdown simply too painful to ignore. Robin.
And Mary, over the weekend, the president issued another round of pardons, we know.
He did, Robin, the president issuing sweeping pardons to key figures accused of trying to help him overturn the 2020 election results, including his former personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, attorney Sidney Powell and John Eastman, advisor Boris Epstein, and his own former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, as well as 72 other individuals. Now, these sweeping pardons cover each of the president's co-defendants who were charged in Georgia for a sweeping scheme to overturn the election results, 4 of whom pleaded guilty. But these pardons are largely symbolic. Presidential pardons only apply to federal crimes, and none of these Trump allies were charged in a federal case. But it is just another example of the president trying to rewrite the history of the 2020 election, Robin.
All right, Mary, thanks to you.
Okay, let's talk more about that with our chief Washington correspondent, Karl, right here. John, Mary just said rewriting the history of January 6th. You've seen a series of actions by the president where he's pardoning those who were involved in the insurrection, investigating and prosecuting those who were looking into it.
Yeah, and look, this is a new thing for Trump 2.0. As of this moment, November 10th in his first term, he had pardoned exactly 1 person. Now, of course, he's pardoned well over 1,500, most of whom those that actually took part in the attack on the Capitol on January 6th. The pardon attorney, Ed Martin, who announced these pardons, had earlier this year said in a post on X, "No MAGA left behind." So the other trend you see here is Donald Trump pardoning those who supported him. In this case, as Mary said, entirely symbolic. None of these faced federal charges. 2 of them, interestingly enough, Jenna Ellis and Kenneth Chesebro, had actually pled guilty to the charges and were cooperating in some of those state cases against the people that were charged at the state level. So interesting that they actually pardoned not just all of his legal team, all of those alternative electors, but 2 people that inside Trump world are actually seen as turncoats.
Of course, the president was actually indicted for his role in the January 6th insurrection, and now you see efforts to go after Jack Smith, the special prosecutor.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly going after everybody that was involved in the January 6th case. Jack Smith is very high on the list. It was interesting, in this case, in this pardon, it said, "This proclamation ends a grave national injustice that Trump says perpetrated on the American people following the 2020 election." Of course, Jack Smith saw the grave national injustice, President Trump's efforts to overturn the election. Now he has defense attorneys himself.